Welcome back to Never Enough Novels. Today I'm sharing a few must-have Bookish apps that all readers need on their phones. I know we're all on our phones so much throughout the day that these apps are going to help make your reading life even better. I have a few different categories to share. Some are like library-related apps, some will help you with reading tracking, and others are great for listening to audiobooks or ebooks as part of a subscription. And I also have two bonus apps that I'm excited to share. One is for iPhone users, and it will give you a free book each week. And the other is an app that I check almost every single day. It lets you buy books from other readers at incredible prices. Or you can sell books through the app as well to earn a little bit of extra cash. And it's especially great if you have too many books for your bookshelves. Before we get started, I just want to remind you that I recently set up my channel memberships. So if you would like to help support this channel, my only membership is 99 cents a month, and it gets you access to a few special badges and emotes that I created just for you guys. I know you're probably most interested in that free book each week, so I will fill you in on that secret first. So this app is called Apple Books, or I think it's just Books, and I think it comes automatically downloaded on every iPhone. I definitely did not download it myself, it was already there. So I was checking it out one day, and I noticed that in the romance section, they offer a free romance book of the week. So within the app, if you head to the bookstore tab and then specifically the romance category, you'll notice they have kind of a header of different topics along the top, and one of those is typically the romance book of the week. So each week, you can download this book completely for free and read it on the app. I have noticed a wide variety of romance books, like different tropes, historical fiction, contemporary fiction, sports romance, literally everything has been available as a free download at one point or another. Sometimes it's authors I've never heard of, but I have seen a few authors that I actually recognize. So these are high quality romance books that you're getting for free. I would also recommend just browsing through the rest of the app if you get a chance, because they often offer sales on different ebooks and audiobooks, so you might just find something on sale that's already on your TBR. Moving on to the library related apps, there's three main ones that I use, and they are Libby, Hoopla, and Cloud Library. So depending on your specific library, they might work with one of them or two of them or all three. You can easily find that out by browsing your library's website or talking to a librarian to see which ones are available to you. Libby is hands down my favorite of the three. When I tell you I am on this app every single day, I am completely serious. It is the best designed app, has the best search function, is honestly the most fun to use and browse through books, and it has the best selection of ebooks and audiobooks that I've seen from any of the three apps. Plus, the one vital feature of Libby that I absolutely love is that you can download ebooks to your Kindle and read those books on your Kindle. So the other two apps don't let you do that, and you would just have to read the ebook on your phone. I'm not a huge fan of that, so I know it's not a problem for some readers, but I personally like to read ebooks on my Kindle, so I love that Libby has the option of downloading books directly to your Kindle. The app itself is incredibly robust and has a ton of really fun features that not many people know about. So if you are a Libby user and you want to know some of these tips and tricks, I do have a video with my top 10 Libby hacks that you can find on my channel page. And just a note, each library has a different partnership or agreement with Libby. So like the books that are available, the number of hold slots that you get, or even what your library's homepage is going to look like, they're all going to be different depending on your own library's agreement with Libby. But overall, this app is absolutely vital for any reader with a library card. So if you find out that your library does partner with Libby, I highly, highly recommend downloading it and checking it out. The next library app is Hoopla, and this is a little bit less robust than Libby. I've found that the selection of audiobooks and ebooks isn't as great, but there's always a few on there that I'm interested in at any given time. Hoopla works a little bit differently from Libby in that each library designates a set number of checkouts each day. So whenever that number of checkouts is reached by its collective library patrons, then no one else can check out a book from the app, and you would have to wait until the next day for the number of checkouts to reset. So my library specifically, I ran into this problem a couple times. If I checked the app by the afternoon or the evening, I would get a notification that my checkout limits were already reached and I couldn't check out that book, and I'd have to wait till the next day to log on. So to get around this, it's kind of just a timing thing where if you see a book on the app that you're interested in, I would just recommend logging on in the morning before other people have checked out their own books, so that hopefully you can snag it while there are still spots available. And my library recently got more checkout spaces through a grant, can't. So since then, I've never had a problem with checking out a book any time of day. And I've talked to other readers with similar situations where their library has enough checkouts that they've never run into a problem. So again, it's very library specific, but there is a pretty easy way around it if you just check out that book in the morning of the next day instead. And the great thing about this is because the books are available at any time, as long as there are checkout spots available, you don't have to wait months and months for books that you're really interested in. One of the things we always joke about with Libby is that sometimes you end up waiting like several months or even longer to get a book that you want. So with Hoopla, one of the nice features is that everything is available automatically as long as there's a checkout hold slot. Hoopla itself has a pretty decent search selection, but it doesn't have a lot of fun browsing options. The most beneficial thing I've found with Hoopla is it does a pretty good job selecting books that it thinks I would be interested in. So there's a section of the app where it will basically recommend books for you, and that's honestly where I find most of my next reads on that app, because it is generally like authors that I've read before or similar titles to things that I've read. So I found a lot of new books through that feature. And as I mentioned, Hoopla doesn't let you download ebooks onto your Kindle, so I use it primarily for audiobooks, but it has been really nice for that. The last library app is Cloud Library. This one is definitely my least favorite out of the three, so I do not use it hardly at all. Every once in a while, if I'm like desperate for a new audiobook, I'll check out the app, but usually it's kind of my last resort. Cloud Library is more similar to Libby in that there are a certain number of ebooks and audiobooks available at any given time, and if a book is not available, you can put it on hold and just wait until it becomes available. However, the overall selection is much lower than the other apps I've noticed, so that's just why it's my least favorite. It's also very hard to browse for things. They don't have a great option to just like look through books to kind of be inspired. So it's definitely better if you have like a specific author in mind that you can search for, or a specific title that you can search for, to make it a little bit easier to use. But you can't deny that any opportunity to get audiobooks or ebooks for free is fantastic. So I love having the option of these three library apps on my phone. Next up are apps that can help you track your reading. So I personally use like an Excel spreadsheet to keep track of my reading, but I know a lot of others use apps on their phone to help keep track. Goodreads is probably the most used one by far. Obviously, it's a website that I'm sure we're all familiar with, but it also is an app. So if you do use Goodreads already, you can download the app to help keep track of your reading on the go. It has been around so long that it's a very familiar website and app, and it's fairly simple, but it doesn't have the same like fun features or stats that I've seen from a few other apps, so it's not my most recommended reading tracking app. The one that I'm most intrigued by is called Storygraph, and it is newer to the scene but has been growing in popularity by leaps and bounds. It seems to have a lot of more fun features than Goodreads, and also is really well known for its stats and the way you can kind of learn more about your reading and get different insights into what you're reading that I think a lot of readers really like. In addition to just keeping track of the books that you're reading yourself, you can also use it to help find your next read. You can join different reading challenges and basically participate in a community of other readers. Starting with the tracking feature itself, since that's kind of the main point of some of these apps, one of the things that I love about this one versus Goodreads is that it lets you rate books with half or even quarter stars. I have always found it so frustrating that Goodreads never got their act together and allowed you to rate books with even half stars, because to me there's like a big difference between a 3-star book or a 4-star book, and I just want the ability to get a little bit more detailed. So I think it's really cool that Storygraph gives you that ability to rate with half stars or quarter stars if that's what you're interested in. Like I mentioned, they also compile your data and give you a bunch of different stats about your reading that's using different charts and graphs, and I think it's really colorful and like gives you fun reading recaps, which I know a lot of other readers absolutely love. As for finding new books, Storygraph has its own AI, which will help pick your next book based on what you've read in the past. You can also browse by different moods, which I think is a really fun and unique option. The reading challenges aspect of the app is a great way to kind of expand your reading horizons and connect with other readers. I know some of my like Bookstagram and book blogging friends have added their own reading challenges to the app, so you can read alongside them, like put books on your TBR for the different challenge topics and see what they're reading as well. The one downside to Storygraph that I've heard is that just Goodreads is overall better for seeing book reviews. So if you're more interested in finding out like what others thought about different books and getting their full-on lengthy book reviews, then Goodreads would be a little better for that. But Storygraph has kind of the other features if you're more interested in those. And the last reading tracking app that I want to mention is called Fable, and I have not used this one myself, but I've heard a lot of other readers have been trying it, and it seems like they're giving like overall positive thoughts on it. It does have the ability to track your reading, which I know is most important for some people, but it also seems to do so much more. It's kind of described as like a social media specifically for people who want to talk about like books or movies or TV shows. You can join different book clubs or share posts like about what you're currently reading, kind of similar to a social media post. So it seems like a really fun way to connect more with other readers. Also allow the ability to see other people's like themed book lists or create your own, which could be really helpful for finding the next book that you want to read. Then moving on to a couple different apps that will allow you to listen to audiobooks or read ebooks as part of a subscription. The first one I want to mention is Everand because this is the cheapest option on the market right now. It only costs $11.99 for one like unlock each month, and that gives you access to any title on their site, whether an audiobook or ebook, that you can unlock with your one like credit basically. They also have a second tier for I think $17 or $18 that gives you 3 unlocks per month. So if you're an avid reader or an audiobook listener, this is by far the best way to save money on any audiobook that you're interested in. I tried out the subscription for a month and I have a full review and a separate video if you want to check that out. But I thought the selection of ebooks and audiobooks was pretty robust. There was definitely more than I expected on there. The audiobooks are definitely a little bit better. So like for me, it was great because I'm more of an audiobook listener. I don't like to read ebooks on my phone. But there were big name titles that were available on the app like very recently after they were published. I remember when I was trying it out, like Onyx Storm was available on the app or like The Favorites. So it was nice to see books that were really popular available for, let's say, $11.99, and you didn't have to wait in any line to get the book from your library or pay as much as you would on other subscriptions. They also offer a free full month trial. So if you're interested in this at all, it's definitely worth signing up just to give it a try for a month and see if you like their selection. I'll put the link to that down below so you can quickly check it out if you're interested. The next app I'm sharing is Libro FM, which is a more traditional like audiobook subscription. Audible is very similar to this one. It's also an option as well, but I highly recommend Libro FM over Audible because for the same price, you get to support indie bookstores. So through this subscription, I think it's now at like $15 a month, you get 1 credit per month that you can use on any audiobook on their site, and they have literally everything. So I have never not been able to find a book that I wanted on Libro FM. And a portion of the subscription fee that you pay goes towards independent bookstores. And you can even pick which bookstore you want to support. So if you have a local indie that you love, you can find them and support them with your subscription, which I think is just incredible, especially when Amazon is the alternative. Libro FM also offers tons of sales on audiobooks, and they're constantly changing. And most of those sales are like $3 to $5 for an audiobook. In addition, every time you pay for one of those books on sale, again, the same portion of your purchase goes to supporting indie bookstores. So I just think what they're doing is incredible. And I know so many readers love this app for that reason and just how easy to use it is and how fun it is. So this is a fantastic audiobook option. I have a link where you can get an additional credit free for your first month. So if you want to try out Libro FM, check out the link in my description down below. If you're looking more for physical books, Book of the Month is definitely the way to go. This is a subscription that I have had for, I think 3 years now, and I always love seeing what new books they pick each month. So I think their current subscription is $16 a month, and that gives you 1 credit that you can use toward any hardcover book that they've picked that month or an audiobook. So that's kind of a newer feature that I really like. If you're more of an audiobook listener, you can jump back and forth each month and decide whether you want to use your credit on one of their hardcover selections or an audiobook. And this is a very simple book subscription. They basically pick 5 to 7 new books each month that you can choose from as your main book of the month. And then they have a huge slew of add-ons or spotlight titles that you can include in your box for only $11. So you're getting a really great deal on like a brand new hardcover book. And one of the things I love is that they sometimes offer books before they're even released to the public. So they have exclusive deals with different authors and publishers that give you early access to some books, which I think is just so cool. I also have a link down below where you can try it out for just $5 for your first month. So again, I have used this forever and I highly recommend it. So if you're interested, you can try it out for just $5 and see if it's something that works for you. So the last bonus app that I wanted to share that I mentioned earlier is called Pango Books. And this is also a sort of newer app. I've really just started using it in the past year or two, and now it has become like absolutely vital to my reading life. So Pango Books is basically like a version of Facebook Marketplace where it connects readers who want to sell books with readers who want to buy their books. It is very like simple and easy to use. So I have both bought books through the app and sold books and have been like equally satisfied with both situations. Since it's an app designed to support readers who want to like buy or sell books, I found that the people on there are just like really high quality. So either they're offering books at great prices, like you can find excellent deals on new books in great condition compared to what you would pay on Amazon or at Target. And I love that since the books are coming from fellow readers, they are often packaged like really nicely. So these are people that take care of their books and want to make sure that they get to you in really good condition. And you can just tell that like all the people on this book just love to read and like take care of their books and just want to put these books in other people's hands. So it's like a really nice little community. And on the selling side, it's a great way to make a little bit of extra money. It's super easy to list books on the app and it's very simple. Pango just takes a 20% fee off the top and then you get the rest of whatever you priced the book at. They make it so simple because they even provide shipping labels. So if you're interested in selling, all you have to do is list the book. When someone buys it, then you just print off the shipping label, package it, and send it to your local post office. You can also use the money that you earn from selling books toward buying more books on the app, and you get a little bit of a discount, which is great. If you're interested in just buying more books with the money that you earn, they make it extra easy for you. So that wraps up my list of bookish apps that I use regularly. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try any of these out or if there's any ones that I missed, or if you have any questions about any of these apps, please let me know and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And make sure you hit like on this video and subscribe to my channel to see more bookish videos soon.